Welcome users, this is Crypto Guerra, and today I'm going to be discussing pulp culture as we talk about Superman, the Man of Steel, his origins, and the official suit that Henry Cavill wore for the movie. And I was very privileged and honored to be able to get a chance to build this outfit. And here's a chance for me to bring it to you so you can see for yourself and how you can make your own. So this is a suit that actually took quite a few years to do. It was in the making, quite extensive, and also a little expensive. So just be aware that this is not going to be something that's going to be cheap when you go to try to make it yourself. Okay. And also, as far as the Superman origins, there's a lot of you out there who may not be aware of this, but there's quite a bit of people on YouTube and Facebook, social media, who have been claiming that Superman is actually a reincarnation of Nimrod, also known as Baal or Baal. We're going to dive into this and we're going to check out and see if this has any facts to back this up. Usually when I talk to people about these things, there really isn't anything there that they state to really help their case. However, I, on the other hand, have something I'd like to contribute towards this character. Let's find out if it truly is a pagan character, or is this truly as a character that stands for truth, justice, and the American way, which I believe he does. All right, so let's dive right in. Let's take a look, and we'll start exploring the Man of Steel suit. Okay, so what you're looking at here is the first layer of the Man of Steel suit worn by Henry Cavill. Okay, so I just want to make this, for the record, set the record straight. This is not the actual suit that Henry wore, but it is a replica that I think is very, very close to what they did. So to start off with, I want to give you an idea about the many layers and what you're going to have to do to make your own. Okay, so the black material that you have here, okay, this is a mesh material. It's very thin, but if you wanted to, you could actually get Glissnet and adhere the muscle pieces to Glissnet. Glissnet is very, very durable, and over time it's going to last a lot longer. Unfortunately, this was not made with Glissnet, but that's what I recommend, getting a strong stretch material, maybe something that stretches 4 ways, and then you'd be fine. Okay, so let's talk about that just a little, okay? Now, when Henry was doing the part for Man of Steel, he had the physique and he had the muscles and all the proper features that you need to be the actor for the role. But when you put material over somebody, you're going to have a problem here because it's not necessarily going to show through. So what they had to do is they had to cast his physique, put it on multiple layers to get it to come through more. Okay, so that's how it went. Now, a good friend online I met a couple years back, his name is Fernando Navarro, and he has a YouTube channel where he makes muscle pieces that are really, really good for cosplay and doing for your own kind of work. So I highly recommend you check him out. I think his name is Elfet, that you can find on Facebook and on YouTube as well. If you're looking for someone to cast you muscle pieces like this, I recommend him. He does a great job. Check him out. So what we did is we both worked on this together, and we had to scratch our heads to figure out what was actually involved that they used in the movie. So when it came to the suit, of course, you got the black mesh, and then they casted the muscle pieces to go on top. Now, they used a very expensive method that was thousands of dollars for casting the silver into the muscle pieces. I'm not going to spend that kind of money here. So this is what I did, and I recommend you do this as well. I think maybe Fernando has a new update on what he did. Check out his video. You might find something different from what I did, but this worked for me at that time. So get yourself a can of Super 77. Super 77 is a great adhesive that works for gluing things on. Okay, get yourself a can of that, preferably a big can. Get yourself some metallic fabric. Then what you're going to do is you're going to spray the muscle piece. Okay, so you're going to spray the muscle piece all through here. All right, then you're going to spray the fabric. Let it rest for about 3 minutes. Then you're going to drape the muscle piece in the fabric, cut around the object, and there you go. Okay, you got your first piece cut out. That's going to be a little tricky for what you have as far as when it comes to shoulders and when it comes to biceps as well. It gets a little bit more tricky. As you can see, some certain things were not perfect for me. They were really difficult, but at least I got something that looks fairly cool, if not really cool. So it works for me. It might even work better for you if you got a little bit more patience and just timing. And when you stretch the material, just be very careful. You get all the nooks and crannies and on how you do that. Okay. Make sure you use some baby powder too, because that stuff will stick to your hands. You don't want to do that. Wear some gloves if you can. Put your hands in baby powder, then start to work with the glue and work with the material. Okay. So that was a step. That was step number one. Now, when it comes to doing the suit and getting this to stay on, I highly recommend that you use a sewing machine or hand sew the pieces on. As you can see, as I get a little bit closer, this was hand stitched. I stitched this by hand. Okay. So I recommend you do that. Hand stitching is really a piece of cake. I didn't really think it would be at first, but I was glad I did it when I did it. So Super 77 works really well with metallic fabric, and that's usually like a spandex material you can find at your local fabric store. And there you go. You've got the right kind of effect going through. Now let's talk about a backing. Some people like to use interfacing, or maybe it's interlacing. I don't remember what the correct. Okay, so I want to show you guys the inside of the suit. This is the interfacing. And again, I hope that's the correct name for it. But what you have to do is you have to turn the suit inside out, okay? Then you have to glue these pieces of interfacing on you or on a mannequin that has the same physique as you, preferably a mannequin that is just as tall as you or has the same torso size. You want to do that, okay? So then what you're going to do is you're going to stand in the mirror, you're going to look in the mirror, and you're going to glue those pieces on you. But again, the mesh material is going to be inside out so you can see, and then you're going to have to label these things and look in the mirror and make sure they go on properly, all right? Okay, so the last step when it comes to doing this muscle suit is to get yourself a nice airbrush sprayer. Okay, I've got myself actually one of those guns. I'll show you here in a moment. Get yourself one of those, go over to the hobby store, get yourself some black paint, either gloss or matte will be fine. And what you're going to do is you're going to highlight inside of the muscle pieces. Okay, this gives it a nice shading, so the next layer goes on top of it. It'll give it a good 3D pop effect. That's what you want. Actually, I could have done a little bit better job of this. It was my first time doing it, but I think it turned out pretty well. I'm sure you could do more in the shading on the forearms and on the legs, but for the most part, I think it turned out fairly well. Okay, so this is actually the airbrush sprayer I use. This is the Neo Iwata. I hope I said that right. But anyway, this worked really well. This is a top feed sprayer. So you could use this when it comes to doing the spraying effect on the certain pieces all over, okay? This is a great one to use. It can give you a little spendy here and there, but if you can get a good deal on a good deal for it on eBay, I highly suggest using something like this for doing it. Otherwise, you can use just a regular one, something that's not as costly, but it has a really good feel to it. And some of the other airbrushes I've bought online have wound up being a piece of crap. So I just choose correctly. I think this is a very good tool for doing the shading. As you can see, it's a top feed, and it worked really well for me in creating a nice effect. Okay, so there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video on the first layer, or you could say the first 2 layers of the Man of Steel suit. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, send me a like, or if you have any questions or comments, feel free to share with me. I don't mind. I love chatting with you guys. Again, I want to reiterate that I am not a professional cosplayer. This is something I really, really wanted to do and see come to life within a certain budget. It can be very costly, so just be aware of that. But I hope this video helps you, gives you an idea what you have to do in order to create your very own Man of Steel Superman suit. So stay tuned. The next video I'm going to show is going to be the last and final layer, and that's going to be the blue transparent material with all the piping, the cape. We're going to go over that, and stay tuned because it's going to be cool as well. And I hope that you're able to make your own. So until next time, this is Crypto Guerra. God bless every one of you on the other side of the screen.